Welcome back here today on the beautiful campus of Florida Panhandle Technical College. It's almost time for graduation, and we're here today to talk about project graduation. Here right now with Jacqueline Stewart and Lila Taylor, members of the 2018 graduating class from Chipley High School. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jacqueline and Lila about project graduation, the opportunity for young adults in a safe environment to celebrate all that is their culmination of 12 years of school. All too often, young adults don't make it past the weekend of their graduation party. We obviously have lots of potential problems: alcohol, drugs, texting, one that we sometimes fail to talk about, but one that is all as deadly as alcohol or drugs combined. When we come back, we're going to talk about all this and more, and we will be right back. Welcome back. As mentioned, our guests today are Jacqueline Stewart and Lila Taylor, both members of the graduating class, 2018 version from Chipley, Florida High School. Lila, just this weekend, crowned homecoming queen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are also the class president of the 2018 class. You're definitely an overachiever. I know that you're also on the track team. Seeing you there, do you play any other sports?
This year, Chipley has a cross-country team for the first time ever, so I'm active in that.
I guess in the track, you were a long-distance runner there as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Was it, what, 2 mile or a mile?
1 mile.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacqueline Stewart, you actually go to the same church as I do, Shiloh Baptist Church. Do you still go there?
Yes, sir.
You just don't play in the band anymore, or the band doesn't perform very often.
Oh, I do. I'm in the band, but...
Yeah, you play the cajon, right?
Yes, and I harmonize and sing.
Okay. I guess maybe it's just as much mine as anybody's, but maybe we've missed a few. But I just haven't noticed you up there. I haven't seen the youth choir play as often lately, maybe.
Oh, I've been sick, but they did play last Sunday.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that probably that was one we missed because of all of the activities going on. Not making any excuses to my preacher, but so when you have 3 or 4 events to cover in a day, sometimes, you get up a little bit later, and we're not going to get into all that. We are here to talk about, however, the class of 2018 from Chipley, Florida High School and their project graduation. A safe environment in which to let off some steam, have some fun. Lila, do you think that there are still those alcohol-related festivities, parties, whatever you want to call it, in spite of project graduation? Do you still hear of things going on? And you're not telling on anybody, but we won't talk about names or anything. But do we still have that go on?
I believe that some people that are determined to drink alcohol are going to find their way around and do that. But the idea that everyone is all gathered together one last time, encourages more people to do that rather than the alternative, which would be alcohol. They'd rather come be with everybody in their right mind.
I have been to some of the project graduations. It's crazy. There's all kinds of contests going on. There's singing. The opportunity is there for pretty much anybody who's attending, and there are a lot of people, and hopefully more every year as we have successive events. But there's an opportunity for everybody to be engaged in something that interests them. It's not everybody is holding hands singing Kumbaya. That's not what everybody's there to do. But if you have competitive events going on, if you have winning the opportunity to win stuff, Jacqueline, I know that you are the treasurer for the class of 2018. What is your role in this upcoming project graduation?
My role is just to make sure everything is going smoothly and help with the shirt designs for the project grad and just to make sure everything is going good.
Okay. You guys are here today with Gage Carter, and he's going to be on the next segment. The three of you, president, vice president, and treasurer of the student body, do you take an active role in the formulation of this year's, or what will be next year's, your graduating classes, project graduation? Do you have a lot of input into that?
We actually do. Instead of the previous years where the adults would pick the theme, they actually let us vote for the theme, which I think is awesome because it makes us excited and enjoy the graduation more.
Yeah, why in the world? When you say the adults, the teachers?
The parents would most likely
come.
what
have they got to do with it? You know, this is your party, your graduation. I can kind of see it, I guess, but I mean, no, good for you. I think you should have that input, that control. Otherwise, why would you be engaged in a theme that they pick, necessarily? Lila, you had an exciting weekend, obviously.
Yes, sir.
There were a dozen couples that were the contestants or the competitors in that King and Queen contest?
Yes, sir. Or there's 11, so.
11. So if 13's a baker's dozen, does 11 like what, dyslexic baker? What was the process? We've got to talk about that. It's the elephant in the room. Here you are sitting. You've only had a few days since that happened. What was the process that you went through as one of the competing couples in that King and Queen contest?
What do you mean the process?
Well, how were you chosen? How were those 11 couples chosen to begin with? And then what process did you go through? I would imagine at some point you're having to introduce yourself to some of the student body.
Right.
If the entire student body votes,
Yeah.
as small as Chipley High School may be, you still probably don't know everybody intimately,
Yes,
or
sir.
maybe not have spoken to everybody, and you want everybody's vote. So what's that process like during that?
Well, all the senior football players just choose the girl of their choice, honestly, that they want to sponsor. So that was the first step, I guess.
So sometimes these are people that are already dating, right?
Yes, a lot of times that does happen. And then once Hudson sponsored me, we worked together and really hard, and we've just tried to reach out to everyone and form relationships with them. And I even made a lot of cookies.
So you're campaigning.
I did kind of campaign a little bit, but I brought some thank you cookies today as well to,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's all good. Well, and shame on you if you don't campaign. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want it and you accept
we
the
both-
nomination,
we
you
both
should work for
We're
it.
determined, or we had, our goals, and so luckily all the stress was worth it.
Almost all, or were all of the men football players?
All.
All of
That's
them?
how everyone on the court is football player. That's like the only way you are able to.
Gotcha. It was exciting. Nobody knows until the last minute who the winner is,
Yes,
and
sir.
so you're as surprised as everybody is.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations once again on that.
Thank you.
It was a great evening. We lost the game, but as bad as that might be to some, and nobody likes to lose, it was a good game. It was a well-fought game. Both bands performed well. It was a good evening. At the end of the day, it's not all about winning. I mean, don't tell the football team that, or the coach, or any of the staff, or anybody that was probably there that night. But at the end of the day, to me, it's about sportsmanship. It's about playing well. And, Chipley still holds their head high. I mean, my goodness, they're 6-1 now. I mean, they're going into some tough games coming up. They can still rank very, very well. Baker can still get knocked out by somebody, so it's not like it's over, but it's a little disappointing. I get that. Homecoming game, nobody wants to lose. Don't you think that sometimes homecoming games are stacked, that you're kind of pitched against somebody that you know you're going to win? And is there any value in that? Because you see some of those on this year's schedule. Some of these teams that are doing really well are playing somebody that's been doing pretty poorly. So, I mean, that's kind of a false win in itself.
Yeah, I feel like it was good having two undefeated teams come together, and I feel like there's a lot of rivalry there, which made the whole week more, like people had more anticipation. And there's a packed stadium as well. Even Baker, a lot of people came down because
Full house.
they knew there was going to be a good game, and both teams fought hard.
So often when a team comes from as far away as Baker did, they don't bring their whole band, or they don't bring all their cheerleaders, or they cut down the size of their attendees. Like you say, it was huge. It was very heartwarming to be there, when the school was singing their alma mater, when, all of the pomp and circumstance that goes into that homecoming. The parade was great. The bonfire the night before was well attended, actually better attended than last year was, and it was a little bit cooler. What day and time will Project Graduation be on this year, Jacqueline?
May 24th, and it will be on a Thursday.
That's a Thursday night.
Yes.
So when do you actually graduate? What's the
May
date?
24th. So
Oh.
after graduation, we meet up. I think we have a few hours. We meet up, and we meet at the Ag Center, and we stay there.
So it's going to be at the Ag Center, not the gym.
Exactly.
In the past, it's been in the gym, has it not?
I don't think so.
Wow, maybe I'm thinking of Vernon.
Probably so.
Okay. Were you at last year's graduation at the
Yes.
football
Yes,
field?
sir.
It was hot.
It was.
It was very, very warm. We'll be there. We'll be taking photo and video. It's always a great ceremony. Pomp and circumstance all over again. Probably one of the more memorable nights of your life. The night you graduate high school, the day you get married, the day you have your first child, all of those life-changing experiences. And I got to tell you, for me, I'll always remember that high school graduation. What is the purpose, Lila? We've talked about it a little bit briefly, but what is the purpose of Project Graduation?
The purpose is to keep new graduates safe, so parents can feel confident that they're, staying out of trouble, but they still they feel satisfied that they were able to go out and have fun. And also, it's good that all the students can come together one last time and just enjoy each other's company in a safe environment, like you said. So, yeah.
Is it in any way mandatory?
No, it's not mandatory. It's that's the thing. It's the students' attitude towards it. Like they choose to make the better decision to attend, I believe.
You'll be there?
Of course.
And you'll be there?
Of course.
Will Gage be there?
I'm sure. He better.
What kind of a turnout typically, or do you get from the graduating class at the respective project graduation?
It's usually pretty good, I would say. I mean, of course, not everybody's going to be there for whatever reason. It could just be because they don't even want to come.
Some people don't attend the graduation?
Yeah, exactly. But I believe the majority of the class is drawn there, and they usually bring a friend from an undergrad.
Typically hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of premiums and prizes and throwouts are distributed during project graduation. Almost all businesses participate. All corporate entities either write a check or have some kind of an in-kind donation. If nothing else, you walk away with a bunch of swag. I mean, the opportunity to walk away with some really cool gifts and prizes is there. I like what you said. I didn't think about the fact of that probably literally the last time that you're going to be in a room with all of those people, unless maybe you attend some of your graduation homecomings,
yes,
your reunions. My 45th was not too long ago, and I have yet to attend one. Now, mine's in Boston. And, it's a long way away, but that's probably not the reason. I guess I've just never really felt. I mean, I was a geek. I wasn't the star football player. I played. I ran cross country and I boxed. So it was all single sports. It wasn't team sports. So I was never part of a larger group. So, and maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. We had 140 in our graduating class. How many do you have in your graduating class?
Like 130.
125, 30,
Not far different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town outside of Boston, about 5,000 people in the town. So again, probably about the same size as Chipley. What do you take away from your high school experience, Jacqueline? What's if you had one thing, good or bad, what's the thing that that you think of as soon as people say your high school years?
Prom. I love prom.
You loved it?
Yes.
So that's a good thing. Okay.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Lila gets pretty lit.
Yes, I love prom too.
Do you think that that's one of the single biggest focus of women or girls that graduate from high school?
And some guys, I would say.
Well, yeah. I mean, sure.
I think it's just something good that kids are able to look forward to the whole year. Like, there's always the hype around it. Every single year, people just talk. Like, even now, people are already wondering, like, who's going to go with who. And pretty soon, girls are going to be looking for dresses to wear. So.
Even though, like I said, I was kind of an outcast. I was one of the geeks. I was a musician, and I was long hair, and even though that was the case, I actually attended my senior prom, with one of the prettiest girls in the class because at the last minute her boyfriend couldn't go. So, I probably wouldn't have gone at all, and she asked me. So, I mean, so that was kind of cool, and everybody was going, man, Goulding, what are you doing? So there's lots of different things that can happen in the dynamics associated with graduation and proms and all of that stuff. Proms were different when I was a kid. It was in the high school gym. Your parents probably dropped us off. I can't remember that well, but I think that's probably well, actually, I had a car when I was a senior, so yeah, I was able to drive. But you guys go to usually, Panama City Beach, and you rent one of the convention centers, Marriott or Boardwalk or Edgewater. Where are you guys going this year?
I haven't heard about this year, but we've been to Bay Point, like you said. It's always a different place. Wherever is open, honestly, it's kind of hard to find.
And they're all good
today.
places.
Yes, sir.
There's no bad place. And by the time you get inside a place in the ballroom, I mean, you could be anywhere. It wouldn't really
Right.
matter. Thanks for coming on. I know that we didn't really talk that much about Project Graduation. I think everybody kind of knows what Project Graduation is. More importantly, I wanted to get our viewers an opportunity to meet you two virtually anyway on the show. And if you are a business, if you're a corporate entity, if you want to contribute, great opportunity. You guys are still taking contributions, still taking in-kind donations, is that correct?
Yes.
How are you going about that? How are you actually approaching businesses and letting them know that you could use their help?
We have jars, and we've put them in some businesses, and people, and those businesses were very gracious to let us just set them there because, it's taking away their, money that they can get. But people just donate money.
I don't think it really is costing them. As a matter of fact, it's probably good public relations for them that they're seen as somebody who promotes. And also, it doesn't hurt them when after the football games, people come to eat. They go, okay, let's go there because they're helping out Project Graduation. So I think it works both ways. And you like to think in a small community that people do business with those who also give. They say when you need something done, you find a busy person. And what that means is that if somebody's lazy, you're never going to get any work out of them anyway. So the only way to find somebody to do something is to find somebody who's already busy, and they're going to say, yeah, okay, I'll help you out. Lila, is there anything that I haven't mentioned about Project Graduation or about any of this at all that you want to make sure that our viewers are aware?
I think you've hit the high spots for the most part. Like you said, we have a very generous community, and I've been to Project Graduation with my sister in the past, and it was a good time. So it's definitely worth it to, thanks to the community for keeping us safe, like with their generous, donations. We can stay safe that night, so we can have a future, and we can give back to, future graduates maybe after we graduate college, hopefully.
Well said. I do want to hit on something that's probably not as light and lively a topic, and that's the fact that I firmly believe, just by seeing out my windshield when I'm driving around, that texting or people using their smart devices is just as dangerous and probably causing just as many accidents and deaths as drug or alcohol use by young adults. And certainly by adults as well, because there's no age limit on that. I see idiots driving around all the time, and they're between the lines barely because they're on their phone. And that is one of my pet peeves. And our kids, our grandkids, they don't get away from our house without me saying something about it every single time, just to remind them, you got a long drive to Mobile, you're on your way back to Georgia, you're on your way back to Mariana, wherever they're going, stay off of your phone. What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree. I literally get angry when I see people texting.
So you don't do it?
No, I do not.
Ever?
No.
Good
and
for you.
if I need to contact my mom or something, I'll just ask Siri to call my mom so I don't have to look at my phone. But texting and driving, it's not worth it to lose your life. It's just an electrical device. There's no point.
I don't want to come across as the old guy, but I often do. But when I was your age, we had to keep a dime in our pocket because that's what it cost to use a payphone, and we didn't have phones. And if you were out of contact with your parents for 12 or 15 hours, nobody thought anything of it. Nowadays, my goodness, even parents are saying, well, they can't leave the house without their cell phone. Do you think we've become spoiled or maybe somewhat babied, or I don't know. And here's the thing. Parents and grandparents are to blame. It's not you guys. It is parents and grandparents who are making sure that fourth grader has a cell phone. Mm-hmm. What's that about? I mean, seriously. So how can they be upset or surprised when that kid gets into a wreck because they're using the phone that was given to them, like I say, sometimes at a very early age? What are your thoughts on that, Lila?
I think that they can be taken advantage of. However, they are very useful. Like I know many times, like Google Maps has helped me out of a lot of situations. I've been completely lost before and didn't know where I go, but I've also been completely lost and deserted, and my phone didn't have service either. So I kind of had a feeling of what y'all went through back then, and I was pretty scared. So I know that they can be taken advantage of if misuse, but there's also perks to it. So
yeah, and let me back up. I certainly didn't mean to say in any way that there was not a whole lot of good.
Right.
I mean, there's a whole lot more good than bad. Mm-hmm. What I am saying though is that there's an opportunity for abuse and for misuse and for. I have not experienced having a child pass, okay? But I know people who have, and some of those have been based on drugs, or alcohol or use of a cell phone. And all I am saying is that, but for the love of God, I hope that I or anybody that I know very close to me won't have to. And so if we are ever, when I'm able to talk about the subject, I try to and get your candid comments. So don't use your phones when you're driving. You can always pull over, right?
Yes, sir.
And Google Maps is great, Siri's great, all of that stuff. I mean, hey, I wouldn't argue about the benefits, but I just hope that over time we're able. You know, the Florida Highway Patrol used to have a smashed-up car the size of a refrigerator that they carry around on a trailer, and it was a guy that was drunk driving. Now they've got one that was because of cell phone use. Same thing, just not paying attention. And stay safe out there. Congratulations again on your coronation. Congratulations to both of you on your graduation.
Thank you.
You guys are overachievers, obviously. You've done very well, grade point averages. You're sitting on the school student council and so forth. What's your plans going forward, Lila? Where do you go from here?
I think I want to go to Chipley for 2 years and be super active there. I want to see if I can run on their cross-country team as well and hopefully get a scholarship and, you know, PTK and all that stuff.
Good. Chipley is a great
Yes.
first step until you know, maybe unless you have,
Right.
or unless you just can't turn down a 4-year scholarship to a
Well, I want to be a pediatric dentist and orthodontist. So
whoa, that's pretty specific.
I want to get my AA at Chipley for 2 years in nutritional science, and then finish it at University of Florida, my
Okay.
AA and bachelor's, and then hopefully go to dentistry school.
Okay, and who's got a good dentistry school?
UF.
Okay.
So.
Well, congratulations again to both of you, and best of luck going forward, and hopefully you're going to exceed your wildest dreams. I have been extremely successful, and we don't judge that by bank accounts, but the fact that we've got 4 beautiful kids and 6 more beautiful grandkids, and we live in a wonderful place and get to talk to other beautiful young adults who are the product of this really great community. Did I fail to talk about anything in particular, Jacqueline? Did we cover all of it?
You covered it all.
I know that, well, it's probably not tough duty to take time off from school, but I know that you are missing your lunch to some extent. So thanks so much for taking the time, Lila and Jacqueline, and hopefully we'll see you at project graduation.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here talking to 2 representatives from class of 2018 Chipley High School project graduation, Lila Taylor and Jacqueline Stewart, talking about all of the benefits of that project graduation. Again, if you're a business, if you're a corporate entity, if you are a private citizen that would just like to contribute in some way, what's going to be the best way for them to get up with you?
Go by the school,
You can either go by the school or call the school.
call the school.
Okay, all right. So no excuses. If you want to get involved, please do so. We'll be right back.